17, Carlos Reynoso. Number 23, Carter Jones. Number 24, Elliot Murphy. Number 35, Elias Brown. Number 52, Brandon Louie. And now, let's meet your starters. A junior from Macomb, Michigan. Number 4, Dylan Zander. A graduate student from Toronto, Canada. Number 8, Lays Mortori. A graduate student from Santa Rosa, California. Number 10, Ben Thornton. A senior from Gardner, Kansas. Number 13, Justin Newman. And a sophomore from Los Altos, California. Number 51, Nick Dio. The Wildcats are coached by assistant coach Danny Marvilla and head coach Mike Beardsley.
We welcome you to the final matchup in the men's intercollegiate division of the National Wheelchair Basketball Association. The number 1 and number 2 seeds in the country set to collide in a Goliath versus Godzilla matchup. The Moving Mavs of the University of Texas at Arlington with a 70-57 victory against Whitewater in the quarterfinal, barely escaping Alabama 65-61. Face off against the Wildcats, who in dominant fashion got it done against Edinburgh and SMSU. Welcome to everyone watching around the world. I'm Spencer Thompson alongside Mike Frogley, proud to be with you in Champaign, Illinois. Mike, so many good storylines, such a great game that we have ahead. Which storyline stands in your mind right now?
Right now, I love the chess match that I think we're going to see today as Arizona tries to use their early post game against a team that is as tall as them and got a lot of mobility. So I'm really interested in the chess match. They won't be able to keep the same game plan throughout the game. They're going to have to adjust as each team adjusts.
And we are underway from the State Farm Center in what's set to be a competitive matchup between these two teams. A shot already banks it in. Arizona's on the board first off of the shot from Dylan Zander.
Yeah, great opening look by Zander.
As the ball gets loose, Arizona will get it back.
Little bit of up-court pressure by Arizona to disrupt the back pick by UTA, caused UTA to turn the ball over.
Thornton capitalizing on the turnover, and we got a stoppage already, or at least a whistle blown by the official for an inbound pass, as the Moving Mavs face a 4-0 deficit just 41 seconds into the game.
Here's our first adjustment. I saw Thornton signaling for his teammates to go into a triangle and 2 against UTA right now to take advantage of the height they've got to prevent a layup in transition.
Keyshawn Pierre had a shot from distance there that did not find its way down, and possessing the ball is Justin Newman, who was really lights out against SMSU in their semifinal matchup. Dump inside, another bucket there for Mutwari.
Love the early patience by Newman. Just takes his time. He realizes they've got an advantage, takes his time and lets his teammate get to the basket.
Breakaway for Keyshawn Pierre. The Moving Mavs are on the board for the first time today.
Yeah, good look offside. UTA has the speed to compete against this Arizona team in the open court.
Newman trying to conduct the symphony that is this Arizona offense. Newman on the year leading the team in points per game, 19.1. Sends it inside. A 2-point attempt is rebounded by Shadari. And a breakaway, once again, Lionel Tomoki. Pressure there from Zander to fend him off. On the backside, a 2-pointer from Keyshawn Pierre.
So one of the things Arizona's done consistently all year, they've gotten those early breaks off of a rebound. UTA doing the same thing back to Arizona, leaving early and using their height inside on the rebound to create a basket, an easy basket.
A lot of Arizona fans made the travel out here to Champaign. We got a whistle called and a foul.
So we're starting to see that chess match. So UTA coming out, trying to pressure Newman outside beyond the three-point line so he doesn't get that look.
Coach Gouge not happy with the call. Is talking with the official on the side there. It's Jake Livingston. The other officials, Rocco Lamantia and Matt Schneider, have a lot of experience on officiating men's and women's collegiate championships. We're just talking with them about it as that goes outside of the reach of the Mavs in Melendez.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see now. So now Newman's in close, but UTA has the height to put pressure on his shot so he doesn't get some of the looks he's gotten so far in the tournament.
Xander with a pass off Newman had to be forced to take outside shots. That time one inside. Mudwari tried to get the rebound as it bounces away, and a backup shot there. Nick Deo, the sophomore, was doing stuff like that against Alabama all of yesterday.
Yeah, he came up big yesterday. Beautiful little scoop. There's no way he puts that up above his head there because it would be sent into the second row.
Moving Mavs trying to respond, but we got a timeout called by Coach Gouge. A 30-second stoppage with 6:39 left to go in the first.
Year after year, from every corner of the globe.
From Toulouse, Luxembourg,
Sydney, Monte Carlo,
Dubai. People come together to run for those who can't. A run for everyone, where the finish line chases you. On May 4th, watch the world unite again to find a cure for spinal cord injuries, one step at a time. The Wings for Life World Run 2025, live on Red Bull TV.
Brief chance for Coach Gouge and company to work things over. And Coach talked about with the moving Mavs how they've continued to build through the season, and he felt that they have really played at a high level, and it is his testament with them making it to the championship game, and especially the performance they had last night against Alabama.
Yeah. See the adjustment here. Back to a man-to-man defense by Arizona.
Two-point shot from distance. Melendez won't land it there, but a rebound, a great maneuver for Shodari to get the follow-up. Keyshawn Pierre set him up.
Yeah, great initial shot created by Arizona. They want that long, too. UTA willing to, but then you've got to be ready to box out and get those rebounds.
Distance three, it's good! Dylan Xander!
Yeah, Xander in the quarterfinal game was great. A little quiet yesterday, but clearly ready to play today.
Dylan Mitchell inside, couldn't get the response, but Keyshawn Pierre gets the rebound. Backhanded attempt, it's rebounded there. Mutwari. Arizona gets it across the median. 5-point lead for the Wildcats right now, trying to settle things down. Newman from the top of the key. Bang!
I love how steady Newman was. You see him come down. He's on the wing, just gradually moves himself around, positions himself perfectly to take that shot. And triangle and two right now when somebody gets backpicked.
Inside Pierre trying to go for a two-pointer. He's got another one drained. The issue for the Mavs so far has not been getting inside of the paint, nor has it been landing their shots. It's trying to stop Arizona from matching their shots.
Yeah, this is really interesting. Newman is going to stretch the court. A little bit of a miscommunication by Xander and Newman there. But UTA is going to have to pick Newman up way beyond the three-point line because he has got such range and discipline the way he takes his shots.
Stoppage at the score table to clarify either the time or score on the clock, maybe even the possession arrow.
One of the things Arizona has done when they've had a player picked out is they've gone into a triangle and two. It's a dead ball right now. They're trying to communicate to see if they're going to come up and pick and free up Dale and get him back in. But it'll be interesting to see how UTA attacks that triangle and two. That something that we've seen Arizona use a lot over the years.
4:53 now left on the clock. They did adjust it there. It was at 4:46, so they added on a couple of seconds as this gets dumped over outside of the lane, trying to find its way in. Mudwari will swipe it away. Thornton trying to set things up for the Wildcats. Back-to-back games for Arizona teams. The Arizona women's team falling short in the third-place game. Mudwari bounced that off the side of the backboard, gets it swiped away. Great move by Melendez.
Yeah, that's where we see that UTA. UTA has enough height to give some problems, create some problems for Arizona.
Here's Melendez inside for two. Practically uncontested.
Here we see the early post down at the other end with Newman.
And Newman trying to get...
Yeah, he wants Thornton to stop outside. He wants the one-on-one matchup against Tomoki.
Newman with the reach and a foul. They'll call this one on Tomoki.
I love the communication by Newman. He's not saying, hey, I'm going to shoot a shot against this guy. He's not giving away. What he's doing is he's telling his teammate Thornton what he wants him to do, where he wants him to go. I want you to stay high. And then he's going to read out of that.
Xander, pass off Newman. Dump inside, had the pass, but didn't communicate with Nick Deo. Heads back to the Mavs.
Yeah, I think Deo thought that Newman was going to take the shot, so he's looking up, ready to be there for a rebound, and the ball goes zipping by, and he's got that kind of like, is that to me? But Newman, I like it right away. He's looking at it. He's like, no, that's on me. That's my bad.
Deep toss all the way down to Shakuri. Interesting choice. You usually have those passes close on the baseline, so he saw the opening there. Great awareness by Melendez. Inside the paint for two. Couldn't get the shot. Newman on the rebound. Another deep toss. Mutware will get the ball and draw the foul.
Yeah, one of the things, what we saw was they were backpicking and using two players to backpick Mutware. And what Arizona did was immediately put pressure up on that. And we'll see that kind of tactic going back and forth today. Pressure up when somebody gets backpicked, especially with two players.
Brandon Louis is going to check in for Nick Deo on the Arizona side. This Wildcats team went 25-4, and I believe they also called that a technical foul with Newman alone at the line.
Yeah, when the UTA player came in, he didn't just slap at the ball. He actually grabbed Newman's wrist, and that's what made it an intentional foul.
Carrington Melendez called for that as Newman lands the shot. Melendez was having a conversation with the officials trying to justify his case, but 99% of the time it doesn't really help you to have those conversations. As Newman banks them both. And possession back to the Wildcats.
Wildcats, ball.
.329 left to go in this opening quarter. Arizona with a chance to go up by more than their 6-point lead.
There's that power set we've seen before where you get Mutwari and Newman on the same side.
Offensive foul going the other way.
Wildcats foul on 10. Ben Thornton.
Thornton called for the foul.
His first. Team's first.
Now this is the big question of when will the Mavs get a chance to respond, at least keeping it within 6, so not 2 out of reach. Dylan Mitchell, top of the key. Trying to send it back around Melendez. Mitchell, good reach by Pierre with the shot. Arizona's got it back. And a dump down. Mudware will get the ball in stride, tries to go up, and will settle for not taking the shot outside of the paint. Newman Tries to set up something. Xander.
And somebody's got, there we go. Somebody coming to pick for Newman. Newman patiently waiting.
Xander with the air ball. And Xander was calling for it, too. He said somebody needed to pick. It was just waiting a couple of seconds and results in the shot clock violation.
Well, he had two big UTA defenders on that side. He didn't have a great opportunity for pick and roll. He needed somebody actually to post and relieve pressure and attack a mismatch elsewhere in another place. And the mismatch was over where Newman was.
Keyshawn Pierre trying to get past Xander. He'll dump it over. Shakuri just outside of his reach. I beg your pardon, that's Javed Shadari outside of his reach.
Here we see the early post by UTA.
Xander take it back down.
Newman's patience here, just making sure that everybody gets to the right spots to start with the right spacing to start for Arizona.
Mutwari normally doesn't miss from that angle. He's got it in on the second shot.
I love how when he caught it, he paused. He's got all that pressure around him, but he doesn't rush the shot to get it back up. He makes sure he gets himself set. Nice composure by Mutwari.
And notice how much Keyshawn Pierre is rushing down the court, too. Anytime he's getting the ball, he understands the sense of urgency, even though it's very early on in the game.
I think they really want to try to create some offensive transition, but Arizona, to their credit, has gotten back and really taken away the majority of opportunities.
Melendez with the shot from outside. Rebound there on the follow-through, the foul drawn. Jensen Blaine, I beg your pardon, that's Tomoki who's going to go to the line for two.
Yeah, you can see Newman already going off the line. He's going to go early post again. Be interesting to watch how UTA defends this early post. Do they put pressure up court? What do they do to prevent that pass inside?
So much in basketball, you talk about free throws and how crucial they are. This is moments like this where sophomore from Montreal, Canada needs to at least bank one in.
Yeah, it's interesting watching the early post. Newman's down there. He was in the key. When the second defender came, he moved outside the key so he didn't get trapped in.
Newman got the rebound on both of his free throws missed. Keyshawn Pierre unimpeded to the lane. Bucket.
Yeah, that time that rebound, UTA gets it and numbers advantage right away and took advantage of it.
Newman, his usual patience showing again. He'll load up for three. It's off of the rim and backboard, but Mutwari tries to clean it up. Xander on the third attempt and one.
Super athletic move by Mutwari. That tilt up one hand helps him get into the space, get a little bit higher, and get his hand on the ball. And UTA, they can't give Newman that kind of a look. That was a really good look at the three-point line. He's going to hit those most of the time. He missed that time, but they can't continue to allow him to have those looks.
Xander makes it a three-point play and makes it a 9-point lead in the final 48.7 of this first quarter.
Yeah, Arizona signaling for a triangle and two right away as soon as one of their players gets picked out.
Pierre with the reception. Hockey looking with anticipation from the bench at Mitchell. As this pass, shot attempt, I should say, several bounces, gets in for Pierre.
So we've seen three different defensive presentations by Arizona. We've seen their half-court man-to-man, full-court man-to-man, and a triangle and two. One of the challenges for UTA is going to be recognizing and changing their offensive attack and the reads they make as they see these different adjustments throughout the game.
Newman, sling around, two-pointer inside, banked. Brandon Louis.
Louis, big shots hit yesterday, over and over. He comes right in, right away, makes his presence felt. That is big.
First quarter, with Arizona leading 23 over UTA.
Yeah, so our research investigates shoulder health and function in manual wheelchair users and wheelchair athletes across the lifespan. Our goal is to educate our students and student athletes about their bodies and maximize their health-related quality of life, not just at the University of Illinois, but beyond campus life as well. So I love the human body. I love how it functions, and I love how it adapts to daily life, which includes sports and exercise. I'm also fascinated by the shoulder and how that functions and how to keep the shoulder healthy and working properly. My favorite part of my role is interacting with our students and student athletes, getting to check in on them, make sure that they're staying healthy and that they're
Start of the second quarter in the men's championship for the NWBA Intercollegiate Division. A 9-point lead for Arizona over Moving Mavs. Both of them traveling essentially cross country to get here to Illinois. Shot from Mitchell is in.
Good identification by UTA that time. They looked a little bit more settled offensively. Like they were comfortable with making a read out of that defensive presentation by Arizona.
Right side, Arizona's chance here. Thornton won't get it in. Shakuri now in for the Moving Mavs.
Arizona will try to present a triangle in two.
You know, Shakuri looking for the chance. He's got Melendez inside of the paint for the shot. It's too low, no foul, but a rebound there for Shadari.
Yeah, the whole idea with the triangle in two is going to be to try to funnel UTA players into the big player in the middle of the key for Arizona. So really one big player is guarding two players.
Mudwari is normally not that far outside of the paint, trying to find some sort of opening. Is he going to take a tough shot? He will, as it arcs over and out of play.
I like the adjustment here. If they can, keep Newman out of the offensive play.
This toss over. Melendez going in stride. Will dump it off last second. A 2-point shot gets in. Chance for Ito Shakuri to get on the board. And a 30-second timeout from Arizona with a 3-point lead here for the Wildcats.
Year after year, from every corner of the globe,
From Toulouse, Luxembourg, Sydney, Monte Carlo.
Dubai, people come together to run for those who can't. A run for everyone, where the finish line chases you. On May 4th, watch the world unite again to find a cure for spinal cord injuries, one step at a time. The Wings for Life World Run.
Chance for Arizona to think things over. We've seen this throughout the tournament where pretty much every coach has a good idea of when to take their timeouts and try to break up these runs and these comebacks for respective teams. The Mavs within 3, especially when the Mavs have several players that could bank it in. And there's one banked in from Arizona's Dylan Zander.
Yeah, I saw Zander on the far side signaling to Mutwari, hey, come on, come on. He wanted them to attack together, and he was communicating. I love the communication on offense.
They try the back pick on Nick Deo, do the Mavs. Ito Shakuri looked like he was going to load up for a 3, and he'll dump it inside. Shadari's shot won't go. Melendez tried to swipe at it, as this is taken back down by Thornton.
Yeah, great seal by Pierre to get his teammate in.
Thornton. Off Newman, had to stretch out for that one, and his shot will hit off of the rim. Loose and picked up by Deo. Mudwari for 3 off the backboard. Thornton almost got it, and now a chance for the Moving Mavs, but great speed from Mudwari to prevent the play from being set up and a foul drawn. No shot.
Yeah, it looked like Thornton reaching from behind from the outside. And probably not the best decision. Better for him to slow, cut off the back of the UTA player, fill in the middle to help his teammates in transition that way.
Thornton called for the foul. Linares will come in, the senior from West Columbia, Texas. Send this deep for Shakuri. The graduate student from Holon, Israel. He's one of several players a part of Media Days and mentioned he learned a lot through the season and how much of a dream come true it is for him to play at the collegiate level. Melendez tried to pass it off to Shadari as that goes out on the sideline.
Yeah, Butwara using his length, his arm length, to really change the passing lanes as the UTA players tried to find a teammate they could dump it to. See the Arizona in a power set right now. Let's see how UTA addresses that.
Xander looking for the setup. You can hear these Wildcat fans almost like you're back in Tucson. Newman's shot will rim out.
Yeah, Newman recognizing he had the smaller UTA player on him. Doesn't bother trying to pick and roll to attack. He's content just to sit where he is and shoot over top. Oh, looks like they're signaling face guarding.
Yeah, it's a technical foul.
So what you can't do when you're guarding in wheelchair basketball, and you can't do it in stand-up basketball, is you can't put your hand in front of the eyes of the offensive player to block their vision or make it look like you might poke them in the eye. That's considered a technical foul.
And that was called on the senior in Rodrigo Linares. Came off the bench just a few moments ago and got called for that. As Arizona will keep it in possession with 5 and loading up for a 3. Chance there for Hockey.
Yeah, sometimes a tough shot to do. Hockey just coming into the game. Tough to shoot cold right away. Maybe take a couple of possessions up and down and then look for that shot. Here's that triangle in 2 for Arizona anytime somebody gets doubled in the back pick.
Melendez slinging over Xander. Looked like he was under pressure in the area. You know, Shakuri almost loaded up from outside the paint. He's got a shot there, and it's rebounded by Deo and Mutwari. Back across midcourt, Xander, junior from Macomb, Michigan.
Yeah, you can see UTA now, when they get an opportunity to keep Newman out of the offensive play, they're going to do it and turn it into a 4-on-4 game as much as they possibly can.
Mutwari from distance. He's got 2. 7-point lead.
As this game evolves, Arizona can't just be content in that 4-on-4 situation to create 2 screen games that get pushed that wide. They're going to have to be able to create pick and rolls out of space.
Carrington Melendez from outside, up and out. And he gets the rebound on his own shot, will go for it again, and he's fouled. They'll call this foul on Hockey of Arizona.
Yeah, you can see Newman. He's trying to get down an early post as soon as he can. UTA is much quicker on their decision making right now. Now, what Newman did is he just asked to come into the lane. He's allowed to do that, and then the UTA players have to give him space and allow him to get onto the lane. So they can't just pick him anytime. Smart play by Newman.
Melendez drains it in. During media day, Melendez mentioned how he felt like he really meshed with the team well. Loves the film study part of the process and how the team focuses on the little things are really important in trying to make adjustments. As Kerwin Hockey, the senior from Lexington.
Let's see if Arizona creates some space for a pick and roll game.
They try to get it there. Xander inside. No shot for the foul.
So there's so many different defensive presentations here. It's really important for the offense to understand they don't need to rush each possession. They need to communicate and recognize how the reads change a little bit depending upon the defensive presentation.
Ball loose. Melendez will pick it up. Melendez, quick rush numbers, 3-on-2, back to a 4-on-3, and going up, Shakuri cannot make the finish.
Great communication by Xander in the open court. He told his teammate to go over to the other side. He had the ball in that situation. Great job communicating in the open court transition.
Hockey up to Newman. Newman just so comfortable making shots from that angle.
And here's the Arizona pressure because of Newman getting picked.
Dump over left side. Shadari with 2.
Yeah, Shadari, great shot. Pierre setting up that shot with a nice pick to get his teammate open.
Graduate student from Lennar, India, banking it in there. A 5-point difference. 2-possession game. Yeah, it looked like Xander was going to load up for 3. Newman. Again, he loves that distance shot from outside the paint on the right side and makes it look so easy.
Yeah, it looked like he wanted a foul on that one, but I thought the UTA player did a good job going up and staying vertical.
Shakuri, pass off, last second, Shadari for 2.
Now UTA now pressing against the early post.
Deo, sophomore from Hudson, Wisconsin, possesses it. He's on the all-freshman 24 team as he dumps it in. Miscommunication towards Xander. Now it's in, Shakuri. Swiped away by Newman and company, but then picked back up by Melendez. Great positioning and awareness, dumped off Shakuri. Gets it, dump inside. A chance for 2. Couldn't get the lucky bounce there for Mitchell.
Yeah, great look going to the basket. They've got to focus through on those and make sure they count.
Foul called as Rocco explains it to Moving Mavs player Shadari. And Brandon Louie will check in.
So one of the challenges for both teams right now is the shifting defenses. It's easier to shift into a new defense. What's harder is to offensively adjust your reads out of that. And it'll be really interesting to see who can manage that best. Maybe slow themselves down just a notch to recognize the different presentation so they can execute, but then also communicate to their teammates how they need them to readjust their position on the court to attack better depending upon what defense each team is in.
.258 left to go in this first half. A 5-point lead for Arizona over Texas Arlington. And a matchup that has lived up to the hype that we've given it from last night's semifinals. Mudwari, graduate student from Toronto, has the pass off there and trying to go inside. A good pick and roll there, but couldn't make the finish, Xander.
Yeah, nice pick and roll by Louie and Xander.
Shakuri on the left wing has an unimpeded path inside of the paint, but another chance of not making a finish. The follow-through couldn't make it. Good rebound, Shadari at first, and it's picked up by Louie.
Yeah, you can see the UTA player found the seam in the triangle and 2 defense.
Another foul called at midcourt. Shakuri called for the foul again, and Mavs getting close to the bonus. Louie with the inbound pass, regarded to by his teammates in Newman and Xander as the hardest working player on the team. Both the hardest working and the funniest. They have that good balance there. Great clean block by the moving Mavs there as Mutware will drain it for 2.
Yeah, nice clean block. I love Mutware again. He's catching that ball and he's taking his time on the shot and making sure that he uses the time that he has.
Linares will look, will get it over. Mudware with the swipe. last touch off of him. Two fouls for Arizona in this quarter, 4 for the moving Mavs. Ito Shakuri, dump inside. Another chance for a bucket and successful for Dylan Mitchell.
Yeah, they're going to need more of those opportunities because you can see UTA's really, Arizona's really focused on addressing the height of UTA and keeping that height out of the paint.
Xander, back over Louis for the shot. Again, they're getting good looks. Accuracy is the challenge right now as we got a foul on the offense. Mubari called for the foul. And Arizona will get a fresh player in. Elias Brown, the sophomore from Austin, Texas, who coach said is the best dressed on the team. And in 16 games, he's averaged the same amount of points per game as rebounds per game, 3.6. See what impact he makes coming off of the bench.
Here's that pressure up court now again. How does UTA read it and create the appropriate space to attack?
They read it by Melendez going in stride. He has to cut back for the shot, rebounds his own shot, and will bank it in on the follow-through. 3-point game.
And I saw the gap open up. They got the right amount of spacing.
And now Xander alone in stride into the lane, trying to go for the clean block. Shot wouldn't go. Swiped up by Shakuri. Golden opportunity for Xander. Couldn't capitalize on it thanks to the pressure of Melendez and Shakuri. As Ito possesses the ball. Back over, Melendez again. They get it done on both sides of the court, on offense and on defense.
So some transition opportunities now that they're able to take advantage of with Mutuari out of the game.
No shot clock to worry about. Arizona leading by 1 as the Mavs have shifted the pendulum in their favor. Xander inside of the lane, dump off. Louis with the shot. He's got the bucket. 3-point lead in the final seconds of this first half, and they're just going to let it slide. Arizona had the control, but the moving Mavs are starting to come back a little bit here as we head into halftime.
Yeah, like it's been a chess match all the first half. Different defense has been shown. The teams having to adjust, and they haven't done a great job yet of figuring out how to read and attack in that. But at the end, you see Mutuari get subbed out. All of a sudden, a couple of quick transitions for UTA. They spread the court, got the lanes they needed, picked for guys when they needed to, cut when they needed to, and got some easy hoops going to the basket.
We'll be back in 15 minutes for the second half. You're watching the 2025 NWBA Men's Intercollegiate Championship on the NWBA YouTube channel.
All right, my name is Stephanie Wheeler, and I'm the head coach for the women's wheelchair basketball team. I will be starting my 16th season as head coach this coming season. I am a 2-time Paralympic gold medalist as a player. I won gold in Athens 2004 and in Beijing 2008 as an athlete. And then I coached our team in 2016 to the gold medal at the Rio Paralympic Games. So I help our student athletes with their holistic development in quite a few ways, actually. I think one, they come here to be athletes, and so the bulk of what we do is their development on court. We work every single day with their athletic development, whether they're a novice to the game or whether they are a more experienced player and they're a national team player. So I get an opportunity to work with them every single day on court. That not only encompasses their athletic skills, but that's where we also teach a lot of our leadership skills. How to be a leader, how to be a follower, how to ensure that you're being a supportive teammate. So that's also something that we take pride in, that we do really well here. Is it's not just about basketball while we're on the court. We talk about leadership skills. We talk about how to be a great teammate. We also talk a lot about character skills on court. So I think those three things play a huge role into the holistic development of our student athletes. You know, you can't just be on court and be focused on yourself and your own development. Your teammates are important, and who you are as a person is important. And I actually think that's probably the most important thing that we do, is help them grow as people, to become more resilient people, to become more determined people, to become more responsible people, whatever, you know, character skills we are working on. So on court, that's kind of what we encompass there. Off court, we work on some of those things too, and I also think that we play a big role in their academic development as well. We do check-ins. I do weekly check-ins with the student athletes on their academic progress, because I want to make sure that they understand that I care about what they're doing in the classroom, and that they understand that it's an important piece of what they do. So I think if you could distill down everything that we do, it's, you know, we focus in on the academics, we take care of the athletics on court, and then we focus on who you are as a person. All right, I wanted to be a coach for a number of reasons. One, I love wheelchair basketball. I love the sport of wheelchair basketball. I love everything about it. And as I was getting to the end of my playing career, I didn't want to be without basketball in my life. And so any opportunity to coach, I was going to take it. And so when this opportunity became available at Illinois, there was no question in my mind that I wanted to come back home and be a part of this legacy at Illinois. So I love wheelchair basketball. It's a great sport. I also love teaching, and every single day that I get to be on court with our student athletes and I get to teach them, whether it's basketball skills, life skills, whatever it might be, is a great day. So, you know, if I can be involved in wheelchair basketball and I can teach, I couldn't ask for a better day. The other reason that I got involved in coaching is because I had two phenomenal coaches myself. Mike Frogley when I was a student athlete here at Illinois, and Ron Likens when I competed on the national team. And they had such a profound influence on my life and who I am as a person. To this day, I still call them up and rely on them, that I wanted to have the same impact on the student athletes that were coming through our program. You know, at Illinois here, we have a great legacy of incredible student athletes to graduate from our program and go on to do amazing things. And, you know, if I can play a small part in that, continuing that legacy of helping to graduate amazing student athletes, then, you know, again, it's a great day. So anytime I can give back and do the things for our current student athletes that my coaches did for me, then I hope I'm having the impact on them that my coaches had on me. I love graduation day. It's such a culmination of everything that our student athletes have learned from the time they stepped on campus as freshmen to the time that they're leaving us and leaving the nest and going on to do all of the wonderful things that they're going to do. So graduation day is super special. But you know, I think it's kind of hard to distill down the favorite part of the job, because I think there are moments that happen every single day that remind me why this job is so cool and why I'm so lucky. From, you know, being on court one day and like seeing the light bulb pop for a student athlete on a particular skill that they've been like working on and they finally get it. Or to see an athlete come to my office door and say, hey, remember that test I had? Yeah, I crushed it. I got an A on it. Or to help them navigate something that's challenging in their life, a difficult situation, and to see them grow as a person because of, you know, how they navigated that. All of those are incredible moments, and those little things happen every day. And so it's really hard to pick out like favorite moments or favorite things or something like that. But I think that's the favorite part of my job. It's just the everyday piece of, you get to see this growth bit by bit, day by day, moment by moment, actually, for each of our student athletes. And, you know, what a privilege it is to get to be that intimately involved in someone's life. What do I like to do for fun? Well, I bought a record player last summer, and I have recently gotten into listening to records. And so, like, in my free time, you can probably find me at one of our local record stops, digging for records, and then taking them back home and spending some time with them. So I've really been enjoying that recently. You know, I love sports in general, so I love going to sporting events. I love watching sporting events, you know, getting out to any of our Illini sporting events, or if I can get to any like WNBA games or anything like that. I love watching sports. And then I love just relaxing, spending time with my wife, you know, doing something that's just where I can kind of shut down and turn off, have a nap every now and again. It's something I enjoy doing. So yeah, I don't know, you can catch me at a record shop, a sporting event, or on my couch.
My job here at DRES as an access specialist is to work with our student athletes to make sure that they have access to academic accommodations. So those are unique to each student. It could be things like additional testing time, a distraction-reduced environment to take tests. Maybe it's with getting transportation to and from your classes, late arrivals, things like that. I also work with students for housing accommodations, making sure that their dorm rooms are accessible and that they have whatever they need, just sort of in general access needs in their living situations. And then I also work with students one-on-one. I help sort of navigate the whole university experience, kind of helping them figure out things with classes, making sure they're staying on top of their work, and overall just making sure that they're successful here in the academics side of things. I think the favorite part of my role would be watching the students that I work with be successful. You know, a lot of times I work with the incoming student athletes a lot, especially in the first semester that they get here, to really make sure that they have the supports that they need. And so when I see them being successful in both their academics and athletics, it's kind of a really nice thing to see, and it motivates me to keep working with the students. What do I like to do for fun outside of work? I have a dog, and so he takes up some of my time, so I'll go for walks with him. I love reading, and yeah, I'm pretty boring. I'm like an old person, so I don't do a whole lot. Fun fact about myself is that I am a certified scuba diver. I just recently got my Dive Master certification this past summer. I've been diving for 18 years. My favorite place to go diving is the Cayman Islands.
All right, my name is Stephanie Wheeler, and I'm the head coach for the women's wheelchair basketball team. I will be starting my 16th season as head coach this coming season. I am a two-time Paralympic gold medalist as a player. I won gold in Athens 2004 and in Beijing 2008 as an athlete. And then I coached our team in 2016 to the gold medal at the Rio Paralympic Games. So I help our student athletes with their holistic development in quite a few ways, actually. I think one, you know, they come here to be athletes, and so the bulk of what we do is their development on court. We We work every single day with their athletic development, whether, you know, they're a novice to the game or whether they are a more experienced player and they're a national team player. So, you know, I get an opportunity to work with them every single day on court. That not only encompasses their athletic skills, but that's where we also teach a lot of our leadership skills. How to be a leader, how to be a follower, how to ensure that you're being a supportive teammate. So that's also, you know, something that we take pride in, that we do really well here is it's not just about basketball while we're on the court. We talk about leadership skills. We talk about, you know, how to be a great teammate. We also talk a lot about character skills on court. So I think those three things play a huge role into the holistic development of our student athletes. You know, you can't just be on court and be focused on yourself and your own development. Your teammates are important, and who you are as a person is important. And I actually think that's probably the most important thing that we do, is help them grow as people, to become more resilient people, to become more determined people, to become more responsible people, whatever, you know, character skills we are working on. So on court, that's kind of what we encompass there. Off court, we work on some of those things too, and I also think that we play a big role in their academic development as well. We do check-ins. I do weekly check-ins with the student athletes on their academic progress, because I want to make sure that they understand that I care about what they're doing in the classroom, and that they understand that it's an important piece of what they do. So I think if you could distill down everything that we do, it's, you know, we focus in on the academics, we take care of the athletics on court, and then we focus on who you are as a person. All right, I wanted to be a coach for a number of reasons. One, I love wheelchair basketball. I love the sport of wheelchair basketball. I love everything about it. And as I was getting to the end of my playing career, I didn't want to be without basketball in my life. And so any opportunity to coach, I was going to take it. And so when this opportunity became available at Illinois, there was no question in my mind that I wanted to come back home and be a part of this legacy at Illinois. So I love wheelchair basketball. It's a great sport. I also love teaching, and every single day that I get to be on court with our student athletes and I get to teach them, whether it's basketball skills, life skills, whatever it might be, is a great day. So, you know, if I can be involved in wheelchair basketball,
Start the second half. Arizona ball.
20 minutes down, 20 more to go in this men's intercollegiate wheelchair basketball championship for the NWBA. Very tight contest, 3-point lead for Arizona over UT Arlington. And you were right on the money with the face guarding technical foul. And the other technical they called was a flagrant one. I believe it was an intentional grip of the arm. And talked with Matt Schneider about it just before we got on the air and such. And even the supervisor on the officials, Mike Woodard, was getting clarification and making sure to talk about those things real time. Pretty well officiated game so far. As we were talking about, there are three teams on the court. You've got Arizona and UT Arlington, and you've got the Zebras here, and keeping things controlled and calling what they need to call.
Yeah, it's so critical. Sometimes people forget how much the officials are a team of themselves and are really they got to really play together and work together. The better they do, the better the game is. The same as the players. We need officials, players, coaches, everybody to execute to get a great game.
Xander gets the Wildcats on the board for the first time this period, and Lipscomb gets the Mavs on the board for the first time as well. Both teams exchanging a bucket.
Yeah, right off the bat, we see UTA committing to really make it hard for Newman to get up the court and get into offensive position to score.
Another 2-point shot. Xander has got 4 at the start of the second half.
Pressure up court by Arizona. The different presentations of defense that we saw in the first half, UTA is going to have to read those presentations and understand how they need to attack.
And we got a stoppage on the floor for safety. Udwari.
Yeah, when UTA slowed down just a notch towards the end of the first half, they gave themselves time to communicate and to read how they were going to attack against the different defenses. They need to do that again to start this third quarter.
Shikuri with the pass over. Chance for Melendez, who banks it home. If you were to try to drive over to Tucson, Arizona, the University of Arizona from here, you would have 24 hours of driving. So certainly not something this team has done, as they flew out here over 1,600 miles away, and the Wildcats trying to bring that trophy home on the plane to Tucson. Shot from the outside, hits off of the rim. Thornton, and a rebound there from Shadari.
Yeah, UTA not able to, Arizona not quite able to create the space they needed in their two-person games.
Another chance inside. Melendez, and one. And he can feel it as the Mavs are trying to make a comeback.
Yeah, I love Melendez and the way he followed the play to be in a position to get an offensive rebound. The Arizona player turned his back on Melendez. Melendez then just simply cut on him and got an offensive rebound.
Nick Deo will check in for the Wildcats. Carlos Reynoso. Actually, Carlos Reynoso checking in for the Wildcats. Nick Deo called on the foul. So the freshman from San Jose, California, coming in. As Melendez won't be able to make it a three-point play and won't be able to tie the game. Arizona leading by one. From what we've seen thus far, the Mavs have not forced a lead change yet in this contest. It's been all Wildcats on the benefactor side. Xander inside the arc. Thornton dump over, looking for the two-point shot. Reynoso likes what he sees, gets the basket to count.
Yeah, I like the way Arizona took their time. They're creating space and trying to pick and roll against that UTA pressure.
Melendez, dump inside. Shikuri couldn't get it. Reach by Mudware, who will sling it down. Xander with a breakaway. Dylan Xander couldn't finish. Mitchell on the rebound.
Loved the outlet pass from Mudware, though. That was his left hand, too. I know that's his non-dominant hand. He's worked on that a lot.
Toss over. Shadari buckets it in.
Good recognition by UTA to identify the height mismatch and get the ball in the hands of that mismatch.
Thornton. Got pressure from Shadari as Reynoso will get it back to Xander. The junior from Macomb, Michigan. Dump it inside. Reynoso in the paint. Some active hands will result in a rebound from Melendez. Here goes Melendez uncontested for two. And now Texas Arlington has their first lead of the game.
Yeah, you could see Melendez, he get into the open court, and he had decided at the other baseline that he was going to the basket, and he just put the hammer down. And
what would you say to that freshly injured veteran looking to get involved in adaptive sports?
I found my outlet through wheelchair basketball.
A lot of us are used to, having weapons in the military. Now Formax is our new M16.
It's our new battle buddy. Once they find a chair that suits them, anything's possible.
When you understand the ins and outs of a chair or your weapon, you're unstoppable.
feeling the vibes. But
And there we have the sub back in. We have Newman back in. He's set in the early post. We'll see if UTA tries to trap him in there.
my producer got the better of me. I thought we were just still bantering off air, but not saying the Cupid Shuffle is a bad song. It's just one of those I wonder about playing in a basketball game. But you were right about that substitution there. Thornton has the ball. 5:30 left to go in this third quarter. Mudware with the shot. Hits off of the rim. Good reach by Lipscomb. Shakuri, left wing. Dump inside Melendez. Didn't have an option. The moving Mavs have seemed to shift the pendulum in their favor. Shakuri from distance. He's got it. 3-point lead for the Mavs.
Yeah, the Mavs now talking about how they're going to defend that early post. They feel they've got enough height to be able to do that.
Newman gets it off the glass.
13, Justin Newman.
Another chance. Melendez will go to the line for two.
So Melendez is identifying matchups in the open court. So your first thing you want to do on offense, create the appropriate space from, between, and then staggered. And then you want to identify your matchups. Melendez is getting that space, and then he's identifying he can cut on that matchup, and that's what he's doing to get open.
Melendez missed on the first one. Vastly different matchup in terms of at least half of the teams here in this national championship. Whitewater winning last year 74-67 against Arizona. As this gets dumped down, Arizona trying to seek vengeance from last year and previous years. Thornton won't be able to finish Melendez on the rebound.
Yeah, I thought that when Newman backed up out of the key, the UTA defender rotated over. It would have been a great move to just dump the ball to Thornton.
Banked in for another two. Shakuri gets it in. It's a 3-point lead. These crowds trying to do their part with their cheering. Starting to get loud here in State Farm Center.
Yeah, you can see now UTA, when they can, they want to put pressure up court with all of their players, and then they want to try to keep one player up on Newman. If somebody comes to pick, they bring a second defender up, so they're making it a one-on-one shadow game defensively. Then if another person comes up, 2-on-2 shadow.
Shakuri was called for the foul, his second of the game. High up to Newman. That shot from the angle, he's money. Arizona has been the #1 seed for 3 straight years in this intercollegiate men's division, and they have lost every time in the championship game. As a foul is drawn, Arizona is trying to seek vengeance from the 3-year drought, trying to prevent themselves from having a Buffalo Bills situation of 4 years straight.
Yeah, I was talking with Pete User, athletic director, and he was talking about how this has been their focus, that they've just had this unbelievable sense of purpose and resolve, that they're not going to let this happen again, that they're not going to get here and then end up watching somebody else receive that trophy at the end of the game.
Yeah, Coach Beardsley said that as well. He said it would be validation for the Wildcats if they were to win the national title, and it would also show a lot of parity for the men's division in the intercollegiate scene. But they got a long way to go. Down by 1 to the moving Mavs as this goes loose. Going inside, Shadari trying to get it. Mudware gets the ball. Just a good scrap for it in the lane. 3 seconds to get it across, and they do. Xander, top of the key. They try a couple of back picks, do the moving Mavs. Xander looks like he could have tried to weave around Melendez, but they'll settle and wait. waiting a long time to get anything generated here as Xander will take the shot. It won't go off of the rim, and it's touched by Shakuri, still in possession of the Wildcats.
Yeah, I liked the attack that was trailing the play with Newman and with Mutuari, and I think it was Thornton that was back there. That was a great attack. Xander in the front court with Louis, he needed to continue to attack in a 2-on-2 game to make those defenders play some defense and not get a chance to just sit and read the play.
What would you say to that freshly injured veteran looking to get involved in adaptive sports?
I found my outlet through wheelchair basketball.
A lot of us are used to, having weapons in the military. Now 4mags is our new M16.
It's our new battle buddy. Once they find a chair that suits them, anything's possible.
When you understand the ins and outs of a chair or your weapon, you're unstoppable.
Back to action here as Newman possesses it outside the paint. Didn't like the options he had. Newman with 8 seconds.
Yeah, it's a power set by Arizona right now with their two big guys, both on the same side.
Anytime you give Newman the ball outside of the lane on the right angle, somehow he's going to make it. And here's a breakaway for Dylan Mitchell, too strong.
Yeah, 3 UTA defenders on that side. Newman in the corner, rolling out of bounds, side fade, still hits it. Great awareness by the official, catching that ball had been passed from out of bounds, went out of bounds. Nobody touched it, so it gets advanced, so Arizona gets it on the baseline.
Yep.
Way better advantage situation for them offensively.
Yeah, Matt Schneider with good awareness on that. Newman in possession. Arizona leading by 1 now are the Wildcats as Xander, right side, going for the shot. It's good. Nick Deo. I beg your pardon, that's Brandon Louis. Again, Xander regarded him as the hardest working player on the team, and it makes sense with him being one of several players on the Canadian U23 team. Back over Melendez will get it in. Shakuri with the shot. It's good.
Nice job by Shakuri. He set a pick and then he stuck it. And he let his teammate recreate space before he released to get the ball. A lot of discipline in doing that.
Scoreboard says 51-46 in Stadium. I thought the last basket was for the Mavs. Should be 48-49. I think a couple of fans are in the same agreement here as well. They need to adjust it on the score sheet. And they got it adjusted, 49-48. That was concerning me as well. I wonder if they maybe missed a basket earlier for Arizona. Good quick work by the scorekeeping table to get that fixed.
Yeah, excellent job by the table to make sure that correction happened before it impacted the game. Got a bunch of subs in now for UTA.
Louis, pass over Thornton. Arizona with a 1-point lead, trying to extend it. Mavs for the majority of the third quarter had the lead, and another shot won't land for Louis.
Yeah, so there we see Mavs again, keeping Newman out of the offense whenever they can.
Shadari with the 2, won't go. Newman in the paint with the ball. Justin Newman, the senior for Gardner, Texas, leading the team in points per game. We'll bounce it over to Xander. Final 45 in the third. Xander's good. 3-point lead for Arizona.
Such a battle back and forth.
Dump inside. Melendez tries to get it in for 2. Newman on the rebound. And a foul going the other way. Looks like we've got a lockage initially between wheelchairs, and they'll get it fixed there quickly. 25.6 left in the third.
So there we see UTA again, picking up Xander, two players full court. It's almost like a 2-on-2 shadow game, and now Matuari in that game as well.
A couple of back picks being attempted by the Mavs.
All this is now is this is just space for players to pick in the open court. They're the same types of pick and rolls that you run in the half court. It's just a different place. That's what Arizona has to recognize. It's just a different place to set a pick.
Newman for three, off of the rim. This will bounce out of play and back over to the Mavs, but not until we get a stoppage. Headed down to the wire in the final frame of this championship game, a 3-point lead for Arizona over UT Arlington.
Something special for you guys because getting your jerseys is a big deal, and especially for those of you, this is your first Illini jersey, it's a really big deal. Our theme this week and our focus this week is going to be legacy, okay, and talking about our own legacy as a team, as a program, and as individual athletes, what our legacy is. So that's kind of why we prompted you all to think about those things today, because we want to do something, one, that honors our legacy as a program, and then two, that honors your teammate, because you're going to share this journey with them as we go through this season.
We welcome you back to the NWBA 2025 Intercollegiate Men's Championship game. 51-48, Arizona Wildcats lead over the Moving Mavs of the University of Texas Arlington. Spencer Thompson, Mike Frogley, Jakia Hines, our producer. We also got Matt Talbot on the back side, making sure everything's running smoothly here at the State Farm Center in Champaign, Illinois. And we've got a good game to conclude the men's scene in intercollegiate wheelchair basketball side for 2024-2025 as this goes out on the sideline.
Still a good look for UTA. Lots of time behind that screen, and it's the right shooter they want taking that shot. So not a bad possession.
Louis to Xander.
I like this. Newman stretching the court.
We were talking about this during the break. Anytime Newman's in the game, as this gets banked down for Brandon Louis, anytime Newman's in the game, there's a noticeable impact that Arizona has on both sides of the floor.
Yeah, they just seem to settle down. They have a little bit more confidence that they'll be able to create a scoring opportunity. And then Louis, how many times have we seen the ball come into him early in this? Boom, catch, shoot, two.
Dump inside, Tomoki, too strong. Rebound, Mudwari. Now a 5-point lead, almost swiped by Mitchell. Newman with the pickup and a whistle. Looks like a timeout was called on the floor by Mudwari.
Yeah, probably a good move. Again, possessions as we go later in the game become so.
What would you say to that freshly injured veteran looking to get involved in adaptive sports?
I found my outlet through wheelchair basketball.
A lot of us are used to, having weapons in the military. Now Formax is our new M16.
It's our new battle buddy. Once they find a chair that suits them, anything's possible.
When you understand the ins and outs of a chair or your weapon, you're unstoppable.
Yeah, so Mutwari recognizing that they were about to get the backcourt violation, calling timeout to maintain possession. Possession in this game down the stretch is going to be so important. Better to keep possession and use the timeout than lose possession.
You love to see that basketball intelligence. Been really impressed with it all this weekend, including the moments of players being aware of where the possession arrow is, as Mudwari is aware of where his shot's going, but Newman on the follow-up gets the foul.
Yeah, there's that offside attack. I love how Mutwari catches the ball, skips it across, lets the defenders rotate. That opened up space for him to fake and then cut and get to the basket.
At the line is Justin Newman.
Newman will head to the line.
That's the threat that Justin Newman is, though. When the ball rotates to him, the whole defense shifts over and out. That opens up that attack offside.
Five-point lead increased to 6. Newman, one of the players available at Media Day, and mentioned that in terms of the recruiting side coming to the Wildcats, he said Coach Beardsley was his biggest reason for coming down, but that he's felt at home with all these players as he sends that one home for 7.
And UTA right away trying to backpick Newman and keep him from getting back on defense.
And a swipe attempt by Mudwari, and it's a tip for the backcourt.
It looks like it was a foul on UTA as they tried to scoop up that ball and ran into the Arizona player. Great play by Mutwari, though.
Yeah, almost to backcourt, but good awareness on the official to indicate the tip there. As 8:30, Louis will sling it over to Xander. Under 8.5 left to go here in this final quarter. Newman with the tough shot again off the rim. How will the Mavs respond as we got a whistle? It's going back the other way.
Offensive foul on Melendez.
UTA foul on 12, Carrington Miranda. His third. Teams third.
And down the stretch, none of these teams are really thinking about foul trouble. I mean, the Mavs have one left to give before they get Arizona in the bonus, but
And these are back-to-back possessions now where there's been an offensive foul. UTA's lost those possessions.
Louis in stride, bang!
52, Brandon Louis.
9-point lead in the championship game with 8 minutes left to go. The Mavs on their heels. Keyshawn Pierre trying to wend out the noise, but Mutware with the interception. Xander on a breakaway, looking inside the lane. It's gone!
What awareness by Newman on that tip. Saw his teammate, and I love the delivery so that he can easily catch it and make the layup.
What would you say to that freshly injured veteran looking to get involved in adaptive sports?
I found my outlet through wheelchair basketball.
A lot of us are used to, having weapons in the military. Now 4MAGs is our new M16.
It's our new battle buddy. Once they find a chair that suits them, anything's possible.
When you understand the ins and outs of a chair or your weapon, you're unstoppable.
Something special for you guys because getting your jerseys is a big deal. And especially for those of you, this is your first Illini jersey, it's a really big deal. Our theme this week and our focus this week is going to be
We get back to action here, 7.5. Plenty of time to play left, Mike. Plenty of chances for Arlington to come back. Would you say you have an early pick on both sides for most valuable player?
Gosh, that's a tough one right now. I don't think it's clear on UTA's side who has surfaced. I really like Mutwari and the steadiness of his game, and Xander is in that hunt too. Both of those two have been really consistent today.
Yeah, and I maybe think Melendez, just because of how much he's handled the ball, as he gets contact on it, goes last off of Xander, who gave a little bit of a look to the official with the foul. But, again, trying to show his respect in that. But I'd say maybe Carrington Melendez if UTA ends up winning this, because he's been a workhorse. But I agree with you on Mudware. He's been fantastic as well. This gets slung over, almost swiped away by Thornton. Dump inside. Over on the shot off the glass. Mitchell won't land it. NIWBT on the rebound. Back pick going here against Mitchell. Newman will settle. He tried to pass it to NIWBT. A miscommunication that almost got swiped by Mitchell. Lucky that Brandon Louis was in position. Louis dump in. Newman inside the paint. Going for the angle against his body and banks it in.
Nice cut to the basket by Newman, showing he doesn't just settle for that outside post-up all the time. You've got to stay on him or he's going to take advantage of it.
Time for a 5-second. Couldn't get the pass off the baseline in time. It's going back to Arizona.
Yeah, that sometimes happens. UTA is so quick to get to Newman and back pick him. 3 guys went to him. Nobody looked to post.
The Wildcats are getting excited in State Farm Center. Rims out off of the shot of Newman. How will Melendez and company respond? Mitchell, the sophomore from Lancaster, Texas, sends it over. Shakuri looked like he was going to load up. He'll load for it on the outside, and a foul drawn. One fan in disagreement on that one.
Yeah, no, as I'm watching the game and I watched the help rotate over, it was the low defender offside for Arizona that rotated over. What UTA has to do is they have to identify where that defender's rotating from. That's where they need to pass from. It's not always coming from the point, so you don't always pass back to the point. You pass where the defender came from, and the defender in that case came from low. Pass low offside.
Potentially one of the more crucial moments of the game here. Banks it home for one. Trying to shave it down to an 11-point separation between these two teams. Makes it an 11-point game. Clutch from the grad student. Newman in NIWBT. Thornton. Now where does the defense kick in for the Mavs? Trying to keep the paint defended as back pick doesn't end up working out. Thornton, right side. Here's Xander again. We've called his name a lot and how incredible he's been. Right on cue.
He is playing great today. I had a chance to chat with that young man at the sideline yesterday, and such a respectful and intelligent young man. Tons of questions, wanting to learn and improve all the time.
Quick response by Melendez to slide down into the lane. Keeps it at an 11-point difference. And the Mavs, time's starting to run out on them. They need to get some stops here, which it's so difficult against this Wildcat high-powered offense. Especially when you have people like Newman driving inside and banking those shots.
I love how they settle down, and you can see Arizona working together and communicating against the different defensive presentations by UTA.
Shakuri just outside. Get the pass in. Too strong of a bounce. Newman has got it again. 13-point lead. Deep toss over the head of NIWBT. Even he didn't want to reach for that one.
Yeah, Xander right away, as soon as that ball's out of his hand, he's like, oh, yeah, I should have just settled it.
Shodari over. Melendez, you wonder when someone's going to try a three from the Mavs, mostly an in-the-paint team. With the difference between these two, you think they'll have it at some point. As Mitchell tried to pass it, had the ball swiped, and Arizona has got it back. It's too many mistakes that have been made here by Texas Arlington down the stretch, and it's moments like that of why a foul gets drawn.
Well, they're getting into congestion. They don't have the right space on offense, and that's allowing Arizona, which has great hands, to get a piece of the ball and get tips. One of the things you always talk about with players is when you've got the ball, you want to have space and movement with the ball. You don't have to have a lot of space and movement, but just a little bit.
You see in the background, Matt Torres, one of the NWBA members, bringing out the golden ball for the MVP and the national championship trophy, ready on standby. About 4 and change left until the end of regulation. If the score holds, Arizona will get things done. Newman with the shot. Got it! Justin Newman has been money throughout this tournament as Mudware intercepts it. Newman again, going in stride, trying to get past the active hands. Too weak of a shot. Melendez will take it back down. Melendez sees his path to the basket. Pass last second. Shadari has got 2.
UTA has to take care of the ball. They had a couple of offensive fouls early in this quarter that took away possessions, and now they've had a number of turnovers off of poorly executed passes. All of those are opportunities to score that have been taken away.
Newman, in the same position he's loved taking shots from, will keep spinning around. Keeps looking for his teammates to help him out as he goes from beyond the arc. Newman might load it up himself. Justin Newman inside. Mudware with the reach and can't make the bucket.
I love Newman. He's coming across the point there. He's seeing Mudware cutting through the key, holds the ball to let him get into position. He waits, he's patient, doesn't throw it early, lobs it in, great pass. On the other end, UTA again turning the ball over. Each of these turnovers is statistically worth 1 point. They've probably had about 7 in this quarter already.
Wheelchair basketball was actually created at the University of Illinois to help World War II veterans acclimate back into society. So I just felt like I wanted to be a small part of what the program has to offer for adaptive sports athletes. I also was very connected to the coach there at that time. His name was Mike Frogley. He's one of my mentors still to this day. He would always challenge us. He would never let us be afraid to fail. You have to try. You have to put yourself out there. And as a Paralympian, as a Team USA athlete, we live in an incredibly uncertain and vulnerable experience.
2:54 remaining in regulation. A 13-point lead for Arizona as they possess the basketball. Thornton, the graduate student, passes it off to the senior. Ends up in Newman's hands. Shadari with the active hands. Mudware back on the outside with 10 on the shot clock. Deep sling. Louis in position. Got the better of Mitchell, but couldn't finish. Tomoki.
Yeah, UTA had some picks, but they weren't quite sure how they wanted to attack.
Not going to be able to attack that way. Too powerful of a pass intended for Melendez. And the Arizona Wildcat fan base is starting to feel it here in Champaign.
Yeah, it's so difficult. That's an unforced turnover. We haven't seen a lot of turnovers that are really Arizona going and taking the ball. We've seen UTA passing maybe just a little bit outside of where their teammate can reach it. Maybe a miscommunication in a couple of instances. Unforced turnovers.
Officials are having a discussion here about a clarification on something.
So important at the end of a game like this, regardless of what the score is, that the officials, if they have any doubts whatsoever, come together, communicate to make sure they get the calls right. That's the most important thing. So I always like to see this. When I see the officials take the time to do that, I think that's a positive thing.
I think they added 1 second back onto the shot clock. As this bounces in to Moki. Moki will try to weave it around inside. He's got a bucket. 11-point game again. Deep toss, Newman. Back over Mutwari. A stumble on the other side of the court. But the moving Mavs get it back. A foul still in possession of the Mavs. Thornton called.
Yeah, we saw Arizona turn the ball over on the inbounds, and now they turned it over again. Coach Beardsley calling a timeout right now, wants to settle them down, doesn't want to put together a string of turnovers that could bring and let UTA back into the game because it's only 11 points. There's still a bit of time left.
Wheelchair basketball was actually created at the University of Illinois to help World War II veterans acclimate back into society. So I just felt like I wanted to be a small part of what the program has to offer for adaptive sports athletes. I also was very connected to the coach there at that time. His name was Mike Frogley. He's one of my mentors still to this day. He would always challenge us. He would never let us be afraid to fail. You have to try. You have to put yourself out there. And as a Paralympian, as a Team USA athlete, we live in an incredibly uncertain and vulnerable experience. Even if you
.145 left in regulation, 11-point game. Arizona starting to taste a national championship. With the moving Mavs trying to go on a run of their own to get themselves back in contention. Outside, Melendez will drain it for two.
So UTA picking up full court now. I think we're going to see that the rest of the game. We're not going to see any mixed defenses.
Fourth foul for Melendez. Would not be surprised if you start seeing some players potentially foul out as they try to put themselves in a good position.
Yeah, to a certain degree, too, we might start to see some situation substitutions so we can put players in who've got fouls to give, and we don't foul out a player who has maybe stronger offensive skills or will be better suited to offense down the stretch.
Now that's a good break there for Texas. Warre on the second shot, 0 for 2, but Newman gets the rebound regardless. They had nobody at the outsides of the box for the free throw, and somehow Arizona ends back up with it. And a foul.
Yeah, good move not to foul Newman. I don't think you want him on the line getting a freebie like that, but Xander's a pretty good shooter. I don't know. Again, it's going to be tough to figure out who you put on the line if you're UTA.
Yeah, the 5 that are on the floor right now for Arizona, none of them are bad in the shooting category. Xander will drain it in there. 9-point lead. (69-58). It was a 9-point lead, and with those 2 free throws makes it to 11. Mavs trying to have one last gasp here. Melendez from distance drains it again. And a foul. This is just the foul game and trying to bank on the free throws, not making it for the Wildcats. As Arizona in prime position. And Coach Beardsley talked about that too, of the tough losses in getting to every championship for the last 3 years and being the number 1 seed, the best team in the country, and just collapsing in the last couple of minutes of those games. And now 61 seconds away from facing their demons, vanquishing them in full fashion.
Yeah, so often it's a challenge to win your first time in a national championship because you have to learn how to be a champion, how to play that way. And so it's taken a couple of years for Arizona to learn how to sustain their focus throughout the season and the game, the championship game, but it looks like it's paying off here today.
Melendez with good distance. I believe that's the first 3 attempted of the game for the moving Mavs, as Newman will get fouled. And the Arizona fan base can feel it. In a season where they went 25-4, 21-3 in the college game, and showed no doubt in their quarterfinal against Edinburgh, and took control of the wheel against the Mustangs in the semifinal after the first quarter having a little bit of a struggle. This one rims out. And you certainly hate it for the moving Mavs, too, on the level that they've played as well. And Coach Gouge saying that they felt that they had great growth in the last couple of years, and they were playing at a high level, just that Arizona has been on a higher level this year.
Yeah, and UTA, they got down early, but then they fought back, and they took the lead partway through the game. They really showed a lot of resilience battling back. And so that was good, but then there was that clump of turnovers through the fourth quarter that took away possessions they had to have, and that's where part of that gap opened back up for Arizona.
And they leave Xander alone in the lane as he just possesses the ball. It's a foul. 38.1 in a 10-point contest. Well, hopefully this time with the bracket, the Wildcats don't potentially break the board. There were a couple players when they were doing the tournament slapping of their name rectangle. It almost broke the board on one of them. It slanted sideways, but you can see the bracket in the background from the wide shot.
Yeah, that's just how much this tournament has been a focus, and how much it is meant to battle throughout this tournament and this season to get to this point where they can be national champions.
Tomoki back in possession, get it down to Mitchell. We'll send it back over. Pierre with the three, won't make it, but a rebound attempt by Tomoki. He'll keep it in, but thought he had it in. His wheel went on the baseline, and the shot clock passed. 27 seconds left. Justin Newman telling him to start celebrating. And a foul as moving Mavs try to hold on, but these Wildcats have been waiting for a while. They've gone through a lot of hardships the last 3 years. And that will be the end of the night for Carrington Melendez, who had an incredible game and did what he could for the moving Mavs to keep them in contention.
Yeah, and for the Mavs, they've got a lot of young players that show a lot of promise as well. They got to hold their heads high in this game. They battled and they fought. There was no let up throughout the game from them. A couple of mistakes technically, absolutely, but no let up. That shows a lot of heart, a lot of character. And, that comes a lot from the leadership of the program. I remember Coach Gouge when he was a player, and he was a fiery player, would never let up, never give an inch, and he's really teaching his players how to compete all the way through. Now it's just adding some of those technical skills and being able to adjust to a game like this.
And how cool is it that Mutwari, I saw him in the locker room at halftime, or not the locker room, in the hallways, and now he mentioned that you were his first coach and that you're able to see this come to fruition for him.
Oh, I love it. Blaze is such a great person. He's got such a great heart, and he's such a great teammate, and it's awesome to see this. I know the journey he's come on and what this means to him. I'm really proud for all the time and the commitment that he's put into his own development to helping this team be the best they can be.
And you're right about Coach Gouge and teaching them to play to the final whistle, encouraging them still to foul. You could certainly see from the camera shots the disappointment on that moving Mavs bench and on the players' faces with the way this is played out. Again, they kept it close, and they had a lead going into the third quarter. Getting out of the locker room, they went up by several points and kept it competitive. And then the Wildcats shifted into a higher gear, and Xander will try to put the icing on the cake with getting another free throw in off a lucky bounce.
It's funny, I'm watching Xander as he's getting ready to shoot his free throws. In my conversation yesterday, I could tell this is a young man that's really, really focused on learning and getting better, and I'm watching the detail of his routine. So even at this particular moment in the game, he's still going through that kind of precision. That's the type of mindset you have to be successful in a game like this.
Toss off to Moki. He'll take it out on the wing. We'll try a three-point shot, and it's short, but a foul drawn, so he'll go to the line for 3 free throws. You think about the gauntlet that all these teams go through as well, especially Arizona. We talked about how they're constantly flying everywhere because there's no other teams close within driving distance of their university. And all the travel, all the long days, all the tournaments they've had to go through at a total of 29 games heading into this tournament, and all the challenges and hardships they've faced to get to this point has to be incredibly fulfilling.
Unbelievably fulfilling, and understanding how difficult that journey is. So they've been the top team in the men's college division for the last couple of years, and going into the season, all the teams are preparing for them. So every time they're getting a chance to play, they're playing against the other team. The other team is focused, their preparation on them. They're getting the other team's best game every game. There's never a game off. And that can be wearing in a season unless you embrace the challenge. They've clearly embraced the challenge and used every one of those games to get better. And we've seen it here, how their style of play has changed and shifted each game, and they've improved and added something.
I also want to give a here. That's either Tori Mazinger or Leanne Smith, one of their American Sign Language interpreters for Arizona. And I believe it's Kerwin Hockey, who is hard of hearing. And it's fantastic for them, for him to still be able to play at this level and to have those on standby. They, I believe, had some substitution, some moments where they're having a final gasp here. One last free throw for Tomoki. And it'll be one last shot here for the Mavs pending another foul. Too powerful to get it back, and they will send it back the other way.
Yeah, I know what Lionel was trying to do. He was trying to have it touch off the rim, catch it, and maybe put it up for a 2 or something like that. But if it doesn't touch the rim, it's a violation. It goes out of bounds.
Well, Coach Beardsley said that they would be validated if they won the national championship, and the 5-2-0 has been validated for the first time in team history. The University of Arizona Wildcats are your national champions in the men's wheelchair collegiate basketball world.
Let's also hear it for University of Texas Arlington.
You know, the women's championship is supposed to start at 4 o'clock. I don't think that's going to be the case because we're past it for 1. But 2, you got this net cutting ceremony that has to happen for the men. And justifiably so. The pure joy, the just overall feeling of this is real. You could see it on Newman's face. He can't believe it. And I know you've had that experience as well in your career.
This is a special moment for the team right now. You want to let them fully embrace this. You don't want to cut it short. I know the Alabama women and the UTA women, they're waiting to get on the court. But this is so, so special. I've been in those moments where you're out there with your team, and all of the things you've experienced throughout the season, all the ups and the downs, all the difficult things, and you're sharing in this moment. And that group of players, they're the ones that know what that meant. You know, all the sharing of the difficult times, and that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the explosion of emotion from from the whole journey, both the ups and the downs. And you want to be able to just sit back, watch it, and let them enjoy it.
And still good to see the handshake between the teams. Saw Coach Gouge. He talked to this team to give them a last-second moment, maybe something along the lines of, we'll be back, and we'll have a chance to get to this point like they have on the other side. But still good to see all the handshakes and the respect that is being shown from both sides.
Yeah, for Coach Googe, now it's a moment of leadership. It's reminding his guys what they did well, because you don't define yourself by one game. You look at your body of work, and they've had a great season. So define yourself by your whole season and not just one game.
And how about for Coach Beardsley, too? You think about the leadership that he's had, and not only that, you think about the assistant coaching staff as well, where he was very praising of them, and Danny Maravilla and their managers, Riley Langner and Christina Chambers. Coach said they wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them, and, you know, it takes a whole mountain for these things to come to fruition.
Yeah, the team is more than just the players. There's a whole support group around them that help maximize their potential. Every single person has a contribution. Without one of those contributions, the team is not as good.
Well, we'll keep it here for a moment as they're about to give the trophy presentations here for the Arizona Wildcats, who are about to celebrate in full with all their joy and all the hard work they've gone through in the offseason. And looks like we're going to get things underway. Well, we say that as they're cueing more music here on this side, but you still see a lot of the reactions here on the camera sides. We can't believe it. They're just waiting to be able to grab that trophy. And I know last year they gave out medals and everything, which is a special part. They're all getting championship shirts for the NWBA, championship caps as well.
Recognize the University of Texas Arlington for the runner-up finish at the 2025 National Championship Tournament. Number 0, Dylan Mitchell.
So they will at least still honor the players. They're each getting, instead of medals, they're doing small trophies for everybody for second place. And understandably so, you could see the sadness on the Moving Mavs face in terms of getting the essentially a consolation prize for falling short. But again, you know this team will be back next year. They will be competitive heading into the Nationals tournament in Arizona.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got some young players, and UTA has a tradition. They have a really proud tradition that really started back in the late 80s, early 90s. They've continued that, and so they're not a team that's got to rebuild. They're a team that's going to reload, and they will absolutely be back. They'll have learned from this, and they'll take this moment. And this will probably create the same kind of resolve in them that Arizona had to have this year. That kind of resolve to pursue their goal doggedly the whole year.
I mean, not even that. Arizona, not just for 1 year, for 3 straight years. I mean, I mentioned they were trying to prevent themselves from being like the Buffalo Bills, going to 4 straight Super Bowls and losing them all. But for Arizona, that was stewing since, my math is correct, since 2022 when they got to the championship and lost.
Yeah, one of the things I always talk to young players, heck, I talk with my own kids about it, is when you're not successful, when you lose, what are you going to do with it? And so with UTA right now, they lost this game, so what are they going to do with it? Are they going to sit and they're going to mope? Are they going to, head in a different direction? Are they going to, some of these young men, are they going to get into the gym this summer? Are they going to say, you know what, I need to handle the ball better. I'm going to work on that. I'm going to have somebody do one-on-one shadow with the ball with me because I've got to improve my on-ball skills, or I've got to improve my passing skills and do a post drill. Choosing to do the difficult things. It's ironic. So you're an Alabama guy, and I remember listening to Coach Saban talk one time. He talked about one of the difference makers between great people. It's discipline.
Yep.
And discipline is doing the difficult things. Discipline doesn't take any discipline to do something fun. Okay. It takes discipline to do the stuff that isn't fun, the stuff that's difficult. It's a challenge, and that differentiates them. That is something that you've seen in this Arizona team. So for 3 years, they've had to make some difficult decisions. And now we're seeing the result of making some of those tough calls, tough choices. This is what it looks like. This is the celebration you get for tough choices.
For the Moving Mavs, they have 2 seniors, 3 graduate students. So depending on the amount of years of eligibility they have left, they'll have those conversations in terms of who will be going to the locker room, in terms of workouts, who's going to be going there and starting to put in the off-season workout phase. But for Arizona, first thing on their mind is let's celebrate. Let's enjoy it. They got a long plane ride home, over 1,600 miles to be able to get back there. But I have a feeling they're staying another night and they're partying here in Champaign.
Yeah, I absolutely think they're going to enjoy things. They'll get some time in the locker room, and then I hope they do savor this moment, because you don't win a championship every day, and so you got to make sure you take it and savor it when it does happen.
Giving everybody their respective handheld trophies to commemorate the moment, since that large glass ball or sphere will forever be in the adapted athletics offices for Arizona. And we talked so many times with Peter Hughes about the great things they're trying to do, and they're offering so many other adapted sports on campus and trying to build the culture and the program. And I also mentioned how much of a chase it is to try and go for fundraising as well, and to try and keep the money flowing in. They've got a supportive alumni base, and the university is great for them, as he's told us, but it's still, you're constantly chasing, which is another reason why bigger conferences should consider regulating adapted sports so that more money flows through.
Yeah, what's so important for people to understand when they're seeing this, and especially a lot of the people that are potentially donors, is these are high-performance athletes. You're donating and supporting them in the same way you would the Arizona men's football team or the Alabama men's football team. They're high-performance athletes, and they need those kinds of resources to help them maximize their potential. Not just their athletic potential, not just their potential as student athletes, but their potential as people, because a lot of these individuals go out into the community, they become leaders where they are in their community, and so we're generating the next group of leaders.
There's the first kiss on the trophy from Coach Beardsley. He'll hand it off to his players, get them a chance to celebrate with it. They'll get their photos. And we still have the most valuable player trophy. That'll be the Intercollegiate Commissioner Kelly Fishback to give it off, that golden basketball that, I don't know if it's spray painted gold or if it's like the fool's gold on the outside, or honestly, if Commissioner Fishback is holding it with one hand, it looks pretty light. I wonder if that's an actual basketball you could dribble. You wouldn't want to, but I wonder if it's an actual ball you could use.
We'll have to ask whoever gets it. We'll call them over.
And now, I'd like to introduce the championship MVP. It is Justin Newman.
We were debating on which one it would be. Newman, an incredible performance, not just in today's game, but throughout the whole tournament as well. He was the major reason why this Wildcats team was so successful in Champaign.
Well, every single game, he made teams adjust and change.
It is a real basketball. If he's got it on one finger.
Yeah, no, every game, we could see that he became the focus point, and teams were trying to adjust their defense around him and make errors, take him away from the play. And that's how significant it was. Whether he was in the play or out of the play, he had already changed it and had an impact on the game. So congratulations to Justin on a well-earned bit of recognition.
Yeah, absolutely deserved. The team is going to do their celebratory slap of the bracket to finalize it. I'm sure that one will be taken back as well to Tucson. I don't know if you would have to check that, if that would be in a check bag, because I don't think that'll fit in commercial. But such pure joy and celebration from these teams as Newman will slap it on the bracket and almost broke the board again, as the Arizona Wildcats are your NWBA men's intercollegiate champions. They'll get to chop down the net, and it looks like they're already going to start. We've already got the start here for the net side. I wonder if we could get that close-up cam moved to show some of this moments here as you got some of these players. It's a really cool thing here. Normally in running basketball, you have the players that just walk up on the line. It's really cool when you have the team members as well go up or lift people on both sides of their wheelchairs for them to still cut it and have that experience.
Yeah, it looks like that it set up so they could cut it down really fast.
Yeah.
And bring it down to their teammates, because we've got the Alabama women
Right.
chomping at the bit, the UTA women chomping at the bit, ready to play.
Yeah, the UTA women already warming up on the other side. Alabama women's team waiting so they can come down. And, yeah, you're right. They've got a staff member up there already replacing that netting so that they can go from there. But that is going to do it for this men's intercollegiate wheelchair basketball championship for 2025 in the NWBA. For Mike Frogley, our producer, Jakia Hines, and Matt Talbot, all the hardworking men and women that make this run so smoothly, I'm Spencer Thompson saying so long from Champaign. The Arizona Wildcats, for the first time in program history, are national champions.